Hi, this is Mrs. Webb, and this is my video on writing inequalities from a graph. So let's get started. Okay, you're going to have to recall how to how to write the equation of a line just from the graph. And you have two options. You can either do it in slope-intercept form, where y equals mx plus b. Let me get my pen out. Okay, and in order to write it like that, you would have to know the slope. You have to go identify the slope, and you'd have to know what the y-intercept is and put it right there. So it would have to cross the y-axis. The other option is point slope form, which is nice when it doesn't cross the y-axis, and you still have to identify the slope, and you have to pick a point. And remember, it's a little bit backwards. The x is over here, and the y is over here. So let's go do a couple examples like that. So I'm not even going to worry about the inequality. I'm just going to graph the line. And I'm going to do this pretty quickly because I have another video on how to graph lines. So if this is in slope-intercept form and I want to identify the slope, I'm going to take a point right here. I'm going to count up and to the left by 1 to get to the next point. So if I go up 1, it's positive. Left 1, it's negative. So my slope, it's either equal to +1, -1, or it could be -1, +1, because I could go down 1, that would be negative, and to the right 1, which would be positive. But I'm going to say my slope is -1. Then here's my y-intercept, and that is the point at 0, 2. So I know it crosses the y-axis at 2. So if I wanted to write the equation of that line, I would say y equals -1x plus 2. Hopefully you remember that. I have a video on that as well. And then after this one, we're going to show you how to do the inequality. Okay, I can also do something in point slope form. Okay, in point slope form, I have to identify the slope. So I'm going to go with this point here and this point here. And again, I'm going to go up 1 to the left 1. My slope is equal to -1. And I'm going to pick any point on the line. I think I'll pick 1, 2. I think I'll pick that point right there. So the point is x is 1, y is 2. So I'm going to go plug it up into my formula up there. Y minus 2 is equal to the slope, -1, times x minus the x coordinate, which is 1. So I would say, okay, that's y minus 2 is equal to -1x plus 1. That's the equation of this line. Okay? So those are your two options for writing the equation of the line. I also want to remind you of your special cases. If you had to write the equation of this line, a horizontal line would be y equals 3. Vertical line, x equals 3. Notice x is equal to 3, doesn't matter what y is. X is always equal to 3. Over here, doesn't matter what x is, y is always equal to 3. Don't forget your special cases, okay? How to graph those two. Okay, now let's talk about graphing the inequality. So if I want to graph an inequality, the first thing I do is I'm going to write the equation of the line here. And on this one, we figured out, okay, the slope was -1 and the y-intercept's 2, so here's the equation of the line. Okay. Now what you have to do is I have to select any point in the shaded region, okay, and I'm going to pick 0, 0, and I'm going to plug it into the equation up here. Okay, if y is 0, now I don't know what the inequality is, that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's equal to -1 times x is 0 plus 2, 0 is less, so that'll be a 0 plus 2. Okay, now I need to figure out what goes in there. So I know that 2 happens to be greater than 0. Okay, and I need to know, is that a solid line or a dashed line? It's a solid line, so it's not just going to be less than, it's going to be less than or equal to. Now I go write I hate it when that does that. Here, let me get my pen back again. I go take my equation here, and I go put my inequality in there. There, you have just written the inequality based on a graph. Let's do one more example. Okay, here's a line, and we already went in and figured out what the equation of the line was. Okay, so I figured out the equation of the line. This is the part that's shaded. I'm going to pick any point in the shaded area. So I'm going to pick 2, 1. No, I don't want to pick 2, 1 because 2, 1 is on the line, and I don't want to do that. I want to pick something that's not on the line. So let's pick, how about 2, 2? That's in the shaded region and it's not on the line. So let's pick 2, 2. And I'm going to go plug it in up here. So I'm going to say, okay, y is 2 minus 2 is equal to negative 1 times 2 minus 1. So I just plugged in 2, 2, x is 2, y is 2. Okay, I get a 0 here. Okay, now I don't know what my inequality is going to be here. That is a negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Negative 1 times negative 1 is a positive 1. I got 0, and I don't know what it's going to be here. Okay, I'm pretty sure 0 is greater than negative 1. It's also a dashed line, so I know it's going to be just a greater than sign. So when I come over here, I write the equation of the line. There we go. It's greater than. Okay, good luck on your assignment.